Dear Diary. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Tam here with Laugh and Grow with Tam, and on my channel, I help you grow with real talk and a side of laughter. All right, y'all. So I think yesterday I posted my first Dear Diary series. This is something that I'm going to continue because I like it. And there's that. So as you guys can see, I'm just sitting here chilling, relaxing. I'm sitting in our guest room that becomes the dumping ground for laundry that hasn't been folded yet. So excuse any laundry you may see in the background. It is what it is. And my diary entry for today will probably make y'all see why the laundry is the last thing on my mind. For those of you who may or may not know, one of the things I talked about at the very beginning of my channel is anxiety. It sucks. And this past year and a half, God has really been walking me through what it looks like to live a life free of anxiety. Now, does that mean I'll never have a moment where I'm anxious? No. But the anxiety I dealt with was debilitating. It was every single day, all day long. I literally got used to having knots in my stomach. I got used to feeling panic. I got used to feeling paranoid. I got used to constantly thinking about what if. And so for me, anxiety had become a genuine part of my life. And so with God's help over the past year and a half, I've really been doing the work to live a life free of that. And this past week, y'all, triggered me in ways that I haven't felt triggered in a while. And, I am struggling. Diary. I'm struggling. And I'm struggling because I have never felt so hopeless concerning anxiety, because when I was in it thick, it just felt like a way of life. But when I saw what life felt like with me having a handle on it and not feeling as stressed concerning anxiety, and then to feel like I got sucked right back into where I used to be, I started feeling hopeless. Like, is this just who I am? Like, is this going to be a part of my life? And of course, the answer to that is no. But when I tell you, this week made me question all of the work that I had done with the Lord concerning anxiety. And I say with the Lord because without him, I'd still be in that old place. Some very simple things happened to me at work this week. Things that normal for what I do. And if you don't know, I am the founder and director of a micro school, and an educational consulting business called Center Stage. And, it is a lot of work, but it is, rewarding, and I enjoy it. And some incidents happened at work this week that triggered anxiety in me because I like to be in control of everything, and not in a bossy way, but in a way of in control that nothing goes wrong and everything is perfect. It's a perfectionist thing. And some stuff happened. We were on top of it. Everything was fine. But my brain began to say, well, what if I hadn't caught it? Or what if I hadn't done this? Or what if we hadn't done this? Or what if this wasn't in place? How would we just all of this? And then I began to spiral. Well, what if this happens in the future? Are we prepared for this? And I just kept spiraling, y'all. And before I even began to spiral, I'm sorry, y'all, I'm sitting crisscross applesauce on the floor, and I'm just too big for that. But I began to spiral. And this actually, before I began to spiral, I realized I had the second night that I went to bed that morning when I woke up and I realized I had gone to bed 2 nights in a row full of anxiety. I mean, heart racing, my husband having to pray over me anxiety, and getting up in the morning with knots in my stomach ache, belly ache, going to the bathroom. Like, how did we get here? Like, in those moments, I didn't even necessarily feel anxious, but what it was the triggers were set off in me already before I even realized it. And then I looked up that next day and I think we need to vacuum in here. My God. The things you see in rooms that you don't be in that often. Anyway, I am a squirrel. But the triggers were just set off in me. And when I tell you they exploded, I just, I don't know how many times I've had like ugly cries this week and this weekend. Anxious about stuff that just wasn't making me anxious. Even today, y'all, in service, I was anxious about a situation. I was waiting on a text back from somebody. They hadn't responded to me. So immediately my brain goes, are they upset with me? Did I do something wrong? Like, girl, get it together. And I'm like, okay, Lord, what is this about? So in this diary entry, I'm just being honest about where I am. I expect too much of myself, and I project that on other people. I am very hard on myself. I don't give people space to communicate. If they don't communicate fast enough, I start making assumptions. I struggle with feeling insecure about me just being enough. I'm enough whether I do anything or not. My value isn't based upon what I can do. I was talking to my best friend Friday, and I realized that I have shifted my love languages to appease the people around me. And that's dangerous. I realized that I pulled back on my need for quality time because the people in my circle don't need it as much. And so in me pulling back, I found myself doing things that I don't normally do because of my need for quality time. I'm at the place where I pull back on what it is that I bring to the table, acts of service, because I'm afraid that I'm going to come off too much for people. And in that, I have found that has made me a little sad and it's made me go inward. And I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Yeah. I don't want to come off as needy or attention seeking or dang, why she always want to be around or why she always doing this. Why I don't want to come off that way. And I don't think that I do, but I overanalyze everything. And I perceive myself. I make assumptions about how people perceive me before they've even interacted with me. So I think I'll end this diary entry with, I'm hopeful that I can, with God's help, get through this random spout of anxiety I'm hopeful that people can see my heart for what it is. And I'm hopeful that I don't get burnt out trying to make sure everybody around me is pleased with me. I'm hopeful that that's not even a thing for me anymore, because I thought it wasn't. And here we are. So pray for you, girl. Whew, that was a big yawn. I'm sleepy. I'm very sleepy. But yeah, pray for you, girl. All right.